Are we doing the thing?
We're doing the thing.
Hey, we're doing the thing.
We're doing the thing.
All right. Holy sweet cinnamon titty Jesus, it's another episode of World 1-1.
Wait, what did you just say?
Shut up, you heard me. You heard me. Don't make me repeat it.
Oh, good googly moogly.
Oh, great googly moogly. It's another episode of World 1-1 podcast. I am your host. I am Larry, the Nordic Beast Giver. With me, in my fucking house, in my studio, in my little theater room where I normally do this shit, is Eddie the Nestle Wonderball Magic Head V. We're back. I've gotten to have the pleasure of actually spending the weekend with Eddie. He's come to visit, and it's fantastic. Eventually, Adrian will too, and with any luck, it will be because he lives in the States, because I had to ship something to him this week, and fuck shipping to Canada. Bare minimum to ship a fucking DVD to him was like $23. I told him, I said, I swear to Christ, next time I ship something to you, I'm going to get my money's worth, and it's going to be a fucking corpse. I'm just going to ship you a goddamn cadaver, because fuck this shit. That, or I'm going to drive up to Canada and beat your ass repeatedly until you just move down here to the States, where it's not an arm and a leg to ship you shit.
Are you sure that you'll be able to do that?
I'll figure out a way. Trust me, it'll be worth it. Because god damn it, $23 to ship a fucking DVD.
It's
$23, a handwritten fucking customs form, and then a follow-up phone call afterwards because apparently they had questions. So, like, I'm shitting you not, the day after I got a fucking phone call from FedEx. They're like, I got a couple quick questions about something on this form here. Because apparently what they told me at the store, at the FedEx place, was not complete for the information that was needed to send the stupid thing out with the fucking form. So that was a thing, too. It was a big fucking process. Good God.
You could have sent it to Postal? Postal was too much?
I was already at FedEx.
Okay.
Everything was going out. So, yeah, that's been the game of the week. Nah, just fucking kidding. There's been way more interesting shit to play this week, but we'll get to that in a minute. Eddie, the fuck have you been playing this week?
Before I actually went on vacation, I've been playing Persona 5 a little bit more. Getting through Ghost Recon Wildlands on Xbox One, getting through that. When I return, I'll be getting back to Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm going to end up finishing that. I also picked up the Blob 2. Like, I've been playing that. And there was another game that I just brought, but I can't remember at this moment in time what it is. What I brought. Oh yeah, I'm sorry everybody. I brought Far Cry 4 for the complete edition, which was really cheap. It was so cheap that it's a brand new copy, and it was less than a regular Far Cry 4. And yeah, that's what I've been doing and playing Pokemon.
So does that mean that the original Far Cry 4 was the incomplete edition?
Yep.
Seriously, this is getting to be bullshit. I'm tired of people selling incomplete games. Stop it. Fuck you, Recore.
Goodness, that game.
Don't get me wrong. I had this conversation with my wife today. We were talking about this. No, not today. This week, weekend, Friday, driving to Battle Creek, and we were talking about this. She's like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, they haven't even put out the rest of the content that was supposed to be in the goddamn original that we were promised would at least come out as DLC somewhere. And before that comes out, they want to sell the fucking definitive edition. Like, the fuck is wrong with you?
They're going to show that E3. I have a feeling they're going to show that E3. And I would say this, if they show that E3, they better not charge people who bought the game. And I don't even know. Well, this is the thing. I don't even think it offer a season pass.
No, there was no season pass. There was no DLC for it. There was just the promise that eventually we would get the one last missing character as DLC sometime.
But how do you send a game out that you know that needs to be patched? And this is going to actually kind of go into a little...
Which, holy shit, that fucking patch for the game was terrible.
They had to do 2 patches, I think.
I remember there was one, and it was like 5 fucking gigs.
Yeah, to make the game load faster.
And it didn't load fast anyways.
Then the second patch came out to fix that patch so it could load faster.
Maybe that was the problem. Maybe I never got the second patch.
Well, this is the thing. So there is a story on Force about Microsoft, and Phil Spencer was talking about why they don't make games like Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn. And he said they're both great games, but they don't make story-driven games. Well, the games that you release...
Congratulations, Microsoft. You just found your fucking problem.
But see, this is the thing. I guess they believe in... it sounds
Games
like...
as a service was the term.
Was the term is pay for service. But the thing about it is that we already have to pay for a service to even use your online functionality. We can't get on YouTube or Netflix without having games for gold.
Now that's gone away.
That's they changed that.
God, that's been old and dead since the 360. They put the kibosh on that during the 360 era. That paywall came down. Thank Christ, because that was the dumbest thing ever.
Well,
I can almost understand it because 360 was the first one to get Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, there was like no other...
I thought we was.
360 had it first. But at that point, you know, there was almost no other real decent way to watch Netflix on your TV streaming. It was still pretty much primarily a PC thing. And so they kind of had the market cornered, and they're like, yeah, if you want it on your TV, you pay that extra like $10 a month or whatever for Xbox Live, so you know you can get through our paywall, and then use the subscription for Netflix that you pay for as well. And you know, it was obnoxious, but yeah, it took way too long. But they eventually took that paywall down. But it was even then, it was years after Netflix and YouTube and everything else was available on PS3 and even on the fucking Wii, where you didn't have to pay for a service to get that shit.
You were just able to go on and do it.
Which is the way it should have been.
Because I know for YouTube, even if you went on Wii's browser before they actually had the YouTube app, you could watch YouTube. Yeah. I know we had the streaming service. I think they did the disc first. Yeah. And then they got rid of the disc, but everybody was watching Netflix on Wii because it was just like, this is easier for us to do. Mm-hmm. But with Microsoft, going back to them real quick, I guess multiplayer games is I guess it's their thing, and their big open world adventure game will be Crackdown, of course, and because that's what Microsoft has done. Because Halo 5 didn't perform well, because Gears of War 4 didn't perform well,
Halo 5 didn't perform well, not for any other reason than the fact that they told a story that nobody gave two shits about with a character that nobody cared about, rather than actually giving us what anybody actually wanted.
Well, yeah.
We wanted to play as Master Chief and find out what the fuck happened after 4.
Yeah, but...
What did we get? We got fucking Spartan Locke.
Whatever that was. But it's just weird that, you know, Phil Spencer would say something like that, you know. And I don't know if he was just talking about they don't do exclusives like that or they don't make games like that.
seems to be either these days because nobody wants to bring their big story-centric adventure games to the 360 anymore, or to the Xbox One anymore. Mm-hmm. And so they're just turning it into the bro console. The console that you will find in every fucking dorm room full of, drunk folk everywhere that, bro, dude, come on. We're going to play some Madden, and we're going to play some fucking Call of Duty.
But you know what? I don't even think that excuse is even worth, that line is not even worth saving anymore because Madden hasn't performed well on either system. Call of Duty, it somehow it sold well last year, but everybody really didn't like it.
It sold well because they attached Infinite Warfare, they attached Modern Warfare to it.
And people got pissed off of that because with Modern Warfare, you had to pay for the new DLC that came out. They was like, we already own this. Why the heck we got to pay for it? And I think it was like, $30 or something?
The fact that they held Modern Warfare Remastered hostage with Infinite Warfare. So if you wanted it, you had to buy Infinite Warfare for $60 and then another $20 to get the edition of Infinite Warfare that had the Modern Warfare Remaster on it.
But is Modern Warfare even worth it?
Apparently it was to enough people. I mean, it wasn't my cup of tea, but I can certainly understand it. I think for some people there's a certain nostalgia attached to it because Modern Warfare certainly cracked a market in terms of online multiplayer that wasn't there before. That's now fairly standard fare.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Here, this kill was worth, 50 points towards your score, and that's become a thing these days. But,
But why not do Modern Warfare 2, where I think that one has the airplane one, the airport level?
Yeah.
Where did you skip?
I don't know. Maybe that comes next year. Who knows?
Like, I would have did that one if I was Activision, but for whatever the case may be, I just don't even feel like Madden or Call of Duty does the numbers for Xbox nor PS4. Like, I not can understand that you're putting these games on for those kind of players, but I'm just like, with me working in retail and seeing more people still buy more Nintendo stuff than Microsoft and Sony. And I'm not even talking about Switch. I'm talking about when Madden 17 came out, barely nobody was picking that up. Some people were, but that was it.
I'm sure a lot of that was getting bought, just not in stores anymore, because these are the people that don't give two shits about, building a standard physical collection like we like. And so for them, the convenience of being able to just jump on at midnight or, 2 in the morning and downloading it without having to go to the store, that appeals to them. And I understand that. I do.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So, for somebody that works in retail, you may not see that traffic happening, but if you look at the back end numbers where it tells the complete story, I guarantee you it's still making them money.
But people don't even know about the digital games. And I'm gonna say, and let me explain why.
You explain. I'm gonna argue why you're wrong.
Okay, I feel like people don't understand digital games because there should have been a news report in external hard drives. When Microsoft and Nintendo have announced that you guys could get external hard drives, that should have been like, okay, now there should have been a boom in it. There should have been good sales, and see for companies that like WD, they should have been being able to see a jump from gamers who are going to go all digital due to the fact that a lot of these systems do not hold that much data.
Nope, I'll tell you exactly why.
And this. Because there's so many titles still being traded into GameStop, and this might actually be another discussion we might have later on. People still care about physical more than they do digital. Even when you tell them, as an employee of a retail store, even as you tell them you could buy this game digitally, I don't want it digitally. I want the physical copy. You could buy this game digitally. I don't want it digital. I want a physical copy. And when it's
Yeah,
right,
but they already wanted a physical copy from the start. That's why they went into the store in the first place.
right. But the thing about it is, if they know about digital, they wouldn't have come into the store. Now, this is separate from parents buying games to actual owners of a system. And what I mean by that is people our age, like 21 and up, who could buy their own system and buy their own games. It would be up to them if they want a physical or a digital copy. When parents don't know anything about digital and how it works, it makes it hard to let them know that, hey, if you go to this place on the system, because you're not going to find the game unless you order it, and it's going to be a while before it comes in, you can have this game on your system right away. Some parents don't get that, and they might fear that their kid or their teenager child might download something or buy something that they're not supposed to do. Because if I was a kid and I was able to just ask for gift cards for my birthday, and I know how to work the digital system, I'm underage. I could buy Grand Theft Auto without my parents not even noticing. Now that should be able to tell more that I'm more about digital sales. That should be a big thing. And that retail physical copy sales should be going down, should be lesser. But it's not. There's just something still about physical copies that people still want. And maybe, okay, indie games are different. Because when some people who have a favorite indie, when they do find physical now, some people go out and get it, if it's a limited run or not. But digital should have been booming. External hard drives, the business for video game consoles should be booming. Even on 360, when we did SD cards, but when the Wii U allowed you to do 2 terabyte on either system, when it first came out, and Xbox 360 and PS3 was still wasn't doing that, it took them a long time to even catch up to that. So digital games on those platforms should have been big, but they're not.
I'm going to beg to differ. First, I'm going to hit on your point that there would have been a boom in external hard drive sales.
Yes.
One for the Madden, for the sports and the Call of Duty folks,
mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a big driver for them because all they want is the current year, what everybody's playing right now.
Yes.
So the hard drive space isn't a big deal. Oh, I'm out of space. That game from that copy of Madden 2013, fuck it, delete, don't care. You can re-download it, but they probably never will because who the fuck is going to go back to a 3-year-old Madden game when they're buying this year's, or NBA or whatever your sport of choice is.
Yes.
Not knocking it, but the yearly sports thing is another issue that I'm pretty sure I talked about my brilliant fucking idea at some point.
We are.
In any case, so that's not such a big deal there. And then, for us sticking the muds, that like our physical copies, we're not buying digital for the most part anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And so the hard drive space isn't that big of a deal because we're not chewing up that much of it. For the most part, all we're buying digital is stuff that's only digital. And so,
right.
And that shit generally does not eat up a whole lot of space. And we've probably bought a console with a bigger hard drive in it anyways. So it's not that big of an issue. And no, that wouldn't have, caused a spike in that. I don't see it.
But I feel like it should have, because when they say your game is available to buy at 12:01, there should have been a big boom. Okay, the game is coming out. I think what happened is that because you can't trade in the digital game, not talking about Steam, talking about consoles. I think because you can't trade in the digital game and get some money back, I think that might be one of the reasons a lot of people don't do digital for some unknown reason. Like,
I'm sure that's a big part of it for some folks too. That's. I still think that that's something that needs to be fixed too. Is that there should be a system where you can trade in your digital copy for a percentage of what you paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's that's a whole other thing I've argued about prior shows. But no, like I said, I think that as somebody in retail, you won't see that change happen so much, but I guarantee you on the back end, the numbers are there. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep fucking doing it.
I think it offers.
Not to mention, seriously, as a matter of fact, think about this. Last time you went into a GameStop or like locally, I've got Disc Replay here, tends to be the bigger, not quite mom and pop, but not quite super chain store like GameStop. But you go in, you scroll through their PS4 and their Xbox One section. Not a lot of used sports games sitting on the shelves at all. Like those old years, they're not there. I remember back in like, PS2 and Xbox and even up to PS3 and 360 to a degree, that was a big thing that you would always see a flood of years past of sports games sitting on the shelf.
You still do today.
Oh, exactly. Because everyone was getting rid of those physical copies to, help chip in at if you traded it in the day of that it came out for like 7 fucking cents. But anymore, you don't see that. Why? Because the few people that are buying the hard copies of it are keeping it. And I can almost guarantee you they're not printing nearly as many physical copies of that stuff anymore. And everyone else is just buying it digital because they don't care, because they've learned from years gone by that there's no point to buying it physical for them, because the next year when the next one comes out, you can trade it in, but you're going to get a fucking nickel. So why the hell bother in the first place with a trip to the store to get something that's going to sit on your shelf that you'll never, use again after the year's up, because the next year's out, because you can't get anything out of it. So fuck it.
Well, I think there are some stores who put a promotion on it that tries to grab them in. Be like, hey, if you buy this game at our store, definitely with sports games, definitely with Madden, it's just
they stopped doing that shit years ago because they learned you can't get rid of that fucking inventory.
Well, for some stores like what we did, we had it where if they came in and bought Madden, they got a $10 gift card, or they got like a $5 gift card and a mini strategy guide for Madden. So they were trying to make it that, hey, if you come to our store and get this new copy of the game, at least you get something more than just the game itself. Like,
you want to know why? Because they're losing their brick and mortar sales to digital for that thing. For the sports games, they are losing those sales to digital. I can guarantee it. Bet you dollars to donuts that's where it's going. And so the stores are missing, the brick and mortar stores are missing out on that profit. And so they're throwing money at ways to try and get people in.
They may miss that profit when the game comes out, but people don't look at the fact that during the holidays, that's when that game starts to really make the money. Because even if people go all out digital when it first came out, once the holiday sales start rolling around October and stuff, people are coming in to get it. Mom, grandma, grandpa, mama, and daddy, if they hear their kid tell them that they want this game, they're coming to the retail store to buy it. None of these kids or none of these people.
They will, because that's something you can physically wrap and put under the fucking tree.
Right. But, well, yeah. And there are some parents who don't trust putting their credit card information in. And even after you tell them that, hey, you can still buy this digital because we sell gift cards that you could put into your system to buy these games, they don't want to do that. Because they be like, well, we don't know how that works. And our son said, sorry about that, our son or our daughter said they want this physical title of this game.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because as the study came out, I was watching to know that they was just like digital has made a big business. Like I think last year or sometime this year, it was like 23 point something billion dollars in digital. So digital was making more than retail. Which I could understand. I'm like,
of course it is. There's no fucking overhead, and they charge the exact same price.
well, yeah, but you got
knock that shit off. Fuck you for that.
But I think because of Steam being a big component, that might be one of the reasons. But Steam is weird because it has like a good title for a game be like $2.50. Like some of their sales go up and down.
Yeah, and at least Steam regularly has sales on a bunch of stuff that people will want to fucking buy. I look at a lot of the sales on platforms like Xbox One, and I even browse what's on sale on the PS4, even though I don't have one, just to see. But, you know, most of the time, the sales are nothing interesting. It's like, here, we're going to put DLC on sale. And, you know, we're going to flood the sale page with, you know, half off this DLC pack and this DLC pack and this DLC. So it looks like there's a whole bunch of shit on sale. Realistically, there's about 5 games on sale and 300 pieces of fucking DLC content on sale. That shit is not interesting.
Well,
all it is it's indicative of the fact that if I buy this game, that how much fucking money do I have to spend to get the rest of the fucking game?
Well, that one is up to the company. That's a whole nother discussion.
Horseshit.
That's a whole nother discussion. But let's get back to Microsoft real quick. We've
gone way far away from what the fuck we played this week. Holy shit.
Because
we got serious fast.
Because with Microsoft saying that they don't do games as big as Nintendo and Sony, and you know, Phil Spencer, he has the right to his own opinion. You know, he knows the business more than we do. I just think that Microsoft don't realize that Breath of the Wild did something for open world games or sandbox games, as you want to call them, and kind of changed that whole genre.
Not just Breath of the Wild, Horizon did too. I mean, we got 2 choice big open world games.
They're open world, but I think Breath of the Wild changed the landscape and how correctly it could be done. Where
it definitely changed the formula, but
yeah,
you know,
where I feel Horizon borrowed more. I mean, Horizon is successful in its own right. It's a beautiful, great game, but Horizon reminds me of something Breath of the Wild doesn't. You know, Horizon, when I think of Horizon, I think of how closely it resembles Tomb Raider, the modern versions, the new versions. Where Breath of the Wild, I feel like there's something about this that I can't pinpoint. And it does something where I should have complaints, but because it's so vast and it's so open, and when they said what it was going to be about, you actually get what they said.
I can see that.
And if you play Breath of the Wild, fast travel, Horizon's fast travel, you have to get materials to fast travel on Horizon. I can fast travel anytime that I want to in Breath of the Wild. And if you read my review on World 1-1, the fast travel for some places that you have to go with the side quests, they're almost half away from each other. They're like almost a 10-minute walk or riding a bull or whatever to get to that destination. And then they add more stuff on. And then you got to go back to the town, which is another 10 minutes. So a quest that should only take about 15 minutes could end up taking up to 45 minutes plus. Plus you have to deal with the other dinosaurs that sees you and want to interact with you when you don't have no fast travel. And you can't override anything to ride.
Speaking of fast travel, I just had a weird fucking thought pop into my head. I got a bone to pick with Twilight Princess. And don't get me, I like Twilight Princess. I really fucking like Twilight Princess. I thought it was awesome. But, speaking of fast travel, Twilight Princess had its own fast travel in it as well.
Yes.
And here's what I don't get. Why the hell can I fast travel out in the middle of a crowd of fucking people, but I can't transform from wolf to Link or Link to wolf in a crowd of people because that'll freak them out. But a person vanishing into thin fucking air does not. This just dawned on me after how many years. The fuck? Vanishing person. Perfectly normal. Nobody bats an eye. Wolf turns into person, person turns into wolf. Oh no, that's just outrageous and people would lose their fucking minds. Never mind all the other shit that goes on in their day-to-day life in that fucking world anyways. Well, you know, scary bug monsters and giant evil things and... But yeah, the one person trying to save them, whether they know it or not, but somebody turning into an animal is the one thing that they will lose their shit over? Who fucking wrote that? That's fucking terrible. This is my one big nitpick at this point, aside from the god-awful tutorial at the beginning of Twilight Princess. This is now officially my uber nitpick with Twilight Princess.
I think that's the new one.
I'm sure somebody has written about this at some point, but I've not read it.
The
thought just popped into my head.
I have a feeling if you look up Twilight Princess, you'll see a whole bunch of complaints in novels of stuff that's illogical and wrong with that game. I love Twilight Princess.
I do too, but that's my one major narrative bone to pick. Like, really? I can vanish into thin air. Nobody noticed. Nobody cared.
You know what? At least they gave you the rules of why. It's illogical. It may be
match
the
up
most
with the rest of the fucking
thing.
rules. If that's the rule as to why, then I shouldn't be able to fast travel out in the middle of a fucking crowd of people either. But I can do that.
Yeah.
And even then, to fast travel out, if I am Link, if I am Human Link or Elf Link or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Human Link.
Yeah. If I am bipedal Link, that's now the official term, is bipedal Link, and I fast travel, he turns into a fucking wolf first anyways.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Because
you can only fast travel in wolf form because Midna has to come out of being a shadow.
When you're going into those little warp things.
Yeah, when you're fast traveling, he has to turn into Wolf Link first. So I can fast travel out in the middle of a group of people in a crowd, and that's okay. And he turns into Wolf Link, and that's fine. But if I just need to transform so I can get to something, I can't do that in the middle of people.
But I thought you only could fast travel whenever you beat those 3 alien-looking things, and you go into that warp to go there. That's the only way to fast travel in that game.
Well, that creates the fast travel points.
Yeah, but you can't fast travel anywhere else. You can't freely fast travel.
If I'm in the middle of a fucking Hyrule Castle, I can fast travel to one of those points out of the castle.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
And so at that point, to fast travel out, I have to turn into Wolf Link and then go out in the middle of people.
Okay, I see what you...
It's bullshit.
It's the stuck...
It's now bullshit.
It's the stuck animation.
It's more bullshit than it was 3 minutes ago when I first fucking realized there was bullshit. It's now more bullshit. Narrative broken.
Well, back to Microsoft. I know everybody's
God
like...
damn you, bipedal Link.
But I think the thing with Microsoft and them not deciding to do games like Breath of the Wild or Horizon or story-driven games, if you want to say it like that, I think Microsoft can do it. The thing about it is they need to actually be creative and actually make it where they're marketing it well. Because the thing about it is that they could write beautiful stories and present them well, but you have to be able to market it well. Guess what? If you show a game at E3, you need to give us updates. You need to do a Nintendo Direct style. You need to get more people involved into the game so we could see how it works, so we could hear the story. We shouldn't have to wait till you do an exclusive in Game Informer or till you actually bring the game out. There should not be no way. Even if you go on a podcast or something, even if you talk to IGN or a Game Informer or have a sit down, do something to market your game and make it a story, and probably make it a story that you're willing to tell that we've never heard.
I'm willing to bet you that's half the issue right there too, is the fact that their system will still sell if all that comes out on it is like fucking Call of Duty, Forza, and Gears something or other. You know, if it's all just that and some sports games, because at that point they don't have to pay to market shit. That stuff will still sell. They'll still move enough consoles to make some money, and at that point they don't have to pour tons of money into marketing to market something like what would have been required by marketing for Scalebound, for example. And so at that point they just look at it and go, both of these make us money, one of them makes us more money, so let's just fuck off the other one.
But the thing about it is the games that you expect of them to make them the money is not. Forza Horizon 3 is probably the top selling game on Xbox One. They're still trying to recoup sales for Gears of War 4. And they poured more into Gears of War 4 than they did Horizon.
Well, to be fair, Gears is getting stale.
Well, shoot. Well, yeah.
Tell me Gears of War felt fresh. Please.
No.
Yeah. Case in point.
But
shit's gotten stale, and that's the That's the other thing, too, is that Microsoft will take a franchise or a series, and they will keep pushing on it until they just run it into the ground, and then they go, this whole genre doesn't work for us anymore because the last one game in a series that we just fucking trudged through the mud till there was only 3 people left buying the game, and
Well, I think that with Microsoft is that the Forza Horizon and the Forza series, Forza Motorsport, has proven to Microsoft that they are good at making that style of a game. Arcade and simulation. They're really good about it because that continues to sell. Would you have to put one of your biggest franchise consistently on sale so you can move copies? That's bad.
Yeah, I mean, Gears dropped quick. We talked about how fast they were giving away copies of Halo Wars 2. So, but, and by the way, you mentioned E3. I just want to say, Microsoft, clock's fucking ticking. We're at least 2 weeks closer than the last time we talked about this. Where the fuck is my Phantom Dust, you pricks?
They're going to show it at E3.
No. That shit was promised to be out.
They're going to show it at E3.
Fuck you. I was promised by E3
they're going to
I would
show
have
it.
it.
They're going to show it at E3. And see, this is the problem. Where's the marketing at? You cannot talk about a game and show that E3 and not do nothing.
They're fucking giving up. Holy balls.
And see, and that's the problem that I'm having with some of the companies besides Nintendo. Nintendo, yes, they delay Breath of the Wild, but guess what? At least we got Anuma to come out to make an update about it. They came on the Game Awards and showed some off of it. They talked. They dropped little hints and stuff in different videos.
Yeah, they didn't go fucking radio silent. Even if you just whisper it once a week, it's somebody. That's, to a degree, it's not sufficient, but at least it's a fucking effort to keep people going, oh yeah, that's a thing I should care about when it comes out.
Yes. And see, I literally respected Anuma and his team, and even this new director, that you made a video and told us that we wanted to get this game out, but we wanted to take more time. You did a video and you let us know. You didn't go to Game Destructoid, put a press release out and call it a day. You didn't do none of that. they came out, said that the game was delayed, did a video, and everybody respect that. If Microsoft and Sony cannot start coming out with more details, we want updates. I want Nintendo's direct style for these games that you promise. If you're going to give us Phantom Dust and you're going to give us a date for it, in the next 4 months after you get talking about it, that thing should not be in Game Informer. I need to see a video after you announced it. I don't care if you do a little commercial about it or a silly dance. Show me some gameplay for where this game is at. And if you need to delay it, do a video saying me that this game is going to be delayed.
Oh, just something, by the way. I'm going to bet you money, Eddie. Fucking gentleman's bet. $5. Dollars to donuts. E3, we get nothing on Phantom Dust. And what actually happened, it was quietly canceled behind the scenes. They told nobody and just hoped to God that everyone fucking forgot that they promised.
No, I think they're going to try to do Phantom Dust as a release, special release, the day of E3.
I'm doubting it. We are too close to have had them say nothing.
Because we have about 6?
Nothing.
We have like 6 weeks.
It's a fucking month and a half.
And I know they're gearing up to bet everything up on Scorpio, but they got to do something. Yeah. They have got to do something. If we don't get nothing about Phantom Dust 4 right now, your E3 presentation better blow our minds to the point that we're talking about you for the whole week of E3. You got to not only beat Nintendo and Sony, you have to.
Their E3 presentation is gonna be fucking lame.
You have to literally take the crown off. When I can't talk about Nintendo anymore, and all I can talk about is Microsoft. That's how strong your E3 needs to be.
Microsoft E3 is going to be fucking weak. I'm calling it. Half of their show is going to be about Scorpio, which is a dumb idea because Scorpio plays to a very limited market of the game population. It's like, seriously, there's only so many people out there that you can really sell this. You could technically sell it to everyone, but not everyone's going to want it and or care. So your target audience is a marginally small sliver. And so it's asinine.
Well, I feel like for their E3, because, okay, we're just jumping to E3 talk. Microsoft.
Hang on. We got to cut that for a minute because we're going to save that for second half, because we're fucking like 40 minutes deep. And we're still technically on what the fuck have we been playing?
Well, I already said what I've been playing.
You have?
And Mario Kart 8.
I haven't even hit this shit yet. I got to take a big hit from the fucking Dago Bong, and we got to talk about what I played real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll break for a fucking minute, and then we'll hit on E3 and a couple of other oddball shit things that have happened. So,
what have you been playing, Larry?
I've been playing a handful of Switch stuff, actually. I got fairly productive this week. Got my hands on Mario Kart 8. Got delivered to me a day early. Thank you for fucking up in the right direction this time, Amazon. Mario Kart 8, fantastic.
Yes.
Wonderful. Tons of fucking fun. Holy shit, though. My kart setup that I always used on Mario Kart 8 on my Wii U, I have not unlocked yet. And so it feels fucking rough for me playing it without, like, my jet bike and my Cyber Slick tires that I love. Like, that's the exact setup that I am used to using, and without them, like, why does my drift distance all feel wrong? Where is my fucking... Everything feels like the controls feel wrong to me in the sense that it's not doing what I think it should be doing in the distance and the time that I feel like it should be doing it. But it's a minor complaint. It's not even a complaint. It's just one of those things that speaks to how much Mario Kart 8 I played on the Wii U.
Yes.
That was so ingrained in me that anything but that exact setup feels wrong and off and almost unplayable to me. But I just need to play fucking more of it so I can get more coins and get my shit unlocked, and then I'm good. I speak to this because my roommate in his random unlocks actually unlocked my jet bike and my Cyber Slicks tires first on his system, and we had a great big fucking Mario Kart party at our place today, and I was playing on his, and I could drop right back into it with that setup, and I was good to go. So it's not that I am rusty. It is literally that I do not have those fucking things yet to play with.
I literally was terrible. I won one match though. I will say I did come in first place, 150. Our 200, we were just like, whoa.
Oh God, 200 was a fucking catastrophe. Don't get me wrong. If I really wanted to, I could probably learn to do 200. Mm-hmm. That's a whole different fucking skill set. I never even got anywhere near respectable at 200 cc on the Wii U version.
But you know what? I think we were having...
I appreciate the fact they fucking put it in.
I think we were having a lot of fun. You
oh,
know,
God, yeah.
It's a struggle sometimes.
We played 200 and we just all laughed at how god-awful terrible we all were. We're like, holy shit, I am awful, you're awful, he's terrible. God damn it.
Falling off. I kept getting bananas. And so I'm like, why am I getting bananas? I'm not a monkey. And yes, if you make a black joke, I'm going to get you.
I thought about it really loud. I did. Oh, you opened the fucking door on that. I need the Randall Graves movies shirt with the great big, duct tape on the back. Porch monkey for life. It's cool. I'm taking it back.
Yeah,
God.
But it really is a beautiful, fun game.
I'm not going to lie, the best part of that scene, though, was at the end when they called in the fire department and the big black dude, the fire chief, walked in and he saw it. That wonderful voice. He just like, porch monkey! No, it's cool. I'm taking it back.
Oh, wow. What else have you been playing? Because the game that we definitely have got to talk about that you just picked up.
There's a couple. I'm almost done with all 3 run-throughs of Kamiko. Mm-hmm. I'll have that done in the next day or so, and I'll get a review up. Long story short, Kamiko is awesome. You will not be gypped at $5.
Yes.
But I'll go into some more depth with that. Like I said, reviews coming in the next few days on the Facebook page. Keep your eyes peeled for that. And
can I say something about the Kamiko? It reminds me of Cave Story when I was playing it today. And I'm just like...
I can see that.
I could... The feel of it, though, it was just like... This reminds me of Cave Story, and I'm loving this.
Like, in terms of the pixelation, very blocky, yes, that's Cave Story.
Yes.
The color palette, to me, that they went with, for the most part, screams Fez. And the play style, that top-down, is old 8-bit Zelda.
You know what? Even Hyperlight Dimension.
You can see that.
Or Drifter, I think that's what it is.
Hyperlight Drifter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew where the fuck you were going.
But yeah, Fez, yeah.
Like Fez for the color palette, Cave Story for the art design, like that super blocky pixel look, and then, just play style is just basic Legend of Zelda combat.
Yes.
But it's $5. It's awesome. You'll at least get your $5 worth out, but I'll put $1 value in the review score when it goes up. Also working on, and probably about halfway through, Mr. Shifty, which I like Mr. Shifty. Don't get me, I like that. That has to be said from the outset. Mm-hmm. Mr. Shifty is fun. It's good. It's cool. And holy crap, that Mr. Shifty has a fucking rockin' soundtrack, by the way.
I need to hear it.
I'll put it on when we're done with this, and you can hear it.
Okay.
Like, the music in Mr. Shifty is, like, awesome. But my issue with Mr. Shifty is in that you've got a game called Mr. Shifty. This implies sneaky, kind of stealthy thief. I'm like, okay, cool. I can get behind that. Start playing it. The teleportation mechanic isn't a means to stealth and sneak. It's just an additional way to not get killed because in order to finish a stage, instead of being able to sneak through undetected and just get to the door and leave, the door doesn't fucking open unless you kill everyone. So really what Mr. Shifty is you're playing as Kurt Wagner if he was a mute homicidal sociopath.
In other words, arena-based game.
Not really arena so much, but it's just, it should have just said from the outset, your goal is to kill everyone between point A and point B so the door opens. Don't promise me something where I'm going to feel like I'm going to get to be sneaky and stealthy and teleport through walls and behind people so that they don't notice me. Because that's not what you're going to get.
Do you think what they showed in the Ninja Direct was what you was getting, or there should have been more explanation for it?
I think they put the focus on the teleportation mechanic and did way too much implying that it was going to be stealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And instead what we got was use your teleportation mechanic to duck out of a room when you start getting swarmed and then come in behind the swarm and start picking them off. It's way more combat than it ever really was sold to us as. What's there is fun. I like it. I don't feel robbed of it. I just feel like I got a different game than I was expecting to play. And I think if they had been more upfront about that, I would be happier about it. But taking it at pure face value, just stripping the marketing off, the game that I played is fun. I like the game that I played. It just wasn't the game that I thought I was getting. So, that happens.
Okay.
So, there's that. And then, good God, Puyo Puyo Tetris.
And the war is going to start when I come back to visit because...
Oh, dude, as soon as you get your Switch, you're getting Puyo Puyo when we were fucking playing online.
Yes.
That shit's happening. But Puyo Puyo Tetris has an immensely sizable amount of depth to it and variation in the gameplay mode.
Yes.
You will absolutely get at least 2 games in one. You will get straight Puyo Puyo and you will get straight Tetris. I'm okay with either of that. That alone is fine for me. But then they've got all kinds of weird little variants, like their swap mode, where you're playing Tetris for 20 seconds, and then you're playing Puyo Puyo on a different screen for 20 seconds, and back and forth and back and forth. And there's some neat skill in that, too. Like, when your Tetris game is about to switch off and you're going into Puyo Puyo, the last block on the screen is going to keep dropping until it falls into place. So it's learning to pay attention to the timer and know when to, instead of fast drop something, go, okay, I've got this piece. I need it to land right here, and just leave it and let it go so that another one doesn't come in right before your screen switches and you can't put it where you want it and it ends up somewhere else. It's going to fuck you over. But swap mode, fucking cool. I can wrap my head around swap mode. It's kind of ADHD, and I like that. It's a little this, little that, little this, little that, back and forth. And it's neat and it's fun, and I like it. The one that's really going to fucking take some time to work out is fusion mode. Dear Jesus.
So, let's explain to them what fusion mode is. Fusion mode...
I'll fucking explain fusion mode.
Okay, go ahead.
Holy Christ, fusion mode. You've got Puyo Puyo and Tetris jammed into the same game board in this weird, bizarre way that I'm still trying to exactly understand. But you'll get Tetris pieces and you'll get Puyo Puyo pieces, all mixed in, and you have to learn how the Tetris pieces sort of supersede the Puyo Puyos, where, like, if you've got Puyo Puyo already laid on the ground and you get a Tetris piece and you drop it on top of the Puyo Puyo, it'll go underneath the Puyo Puyo, and then it'll push those to the top, and you'll end up with, you can still chain together your 4 same color Puyo Puyos to, clear them, and you've got to make lines of the Tetris pieces to clear those, but the 2 don't technically interact. And then on top of that, you'll get some pieces that, while they're falling, they flicker between being a fucking Tetramino and a fucking Puyo Puyo piece. And so you got to time it exactly right when it lands, because whatever the fuck it is when it lands, that's what it stays as.
Yeah. So the rules stay the same.
It's a clusterfuck.
The rules stay the same for
But it's a
each.
cool one.
Yeah. So you do have to make the line still with Tetris. You still have to do the 4 Puyo Puyos to make them disappear.
They crammed two very disparate puzzle games together in a bizarre yet cohesive way.
Which I think I asked.
That takes
I don't know,
lot of skill.
I don't know if I asked you this, but I might have asked Corey this. Our good friend at NGR Radio. I guess Sega now has the license for Tetris, because Ubisoft had Tetris.
I don't trust that Sega has the license for Tetris. I don't trust that anybody actually has the license for Tetris, because the Tetris license has been one of the greatest mysteries of the game industry, aside from where the fuck all the ET cartridges are buried.
Oh, wow. Good night.
Every time a fucking Tetris game comes out, it's a limited print because somebody pipes up and says, you don't have the fucking license to that shit. We do. And all they end up doing is just proving that the one person doesn't have the license.
Well, when they had to take, Nintendo had to take that old school Game Boy Tetris off their eShop because Ubisoft owned it. So with that happening, how does Sega now hold the Tetris license to do Puyo Puyo Puyo?
I'm
Puyo,
telling you,
Puyo,
the
and
Tetris license is the most weird, nebulous thing in video game legality ever. It would take a fucking forensic scientist to figure out who actually has it.
Well, shoot, Ubisoft probably wasn't even making money on it no more. So, yeah, probably Sega does.
Yeah, I have no clue. You'd think if somebody sold and bought the Tetris license, that would be news somewhere.
And it's surprising that game is selling well on Switch. Like, people have been taking pictures. People have been talking about, ever since I bought this game, I got the Switch copy.
Mm-hmm. No, it makes sense because honestly, what is Tetris most famous for? As the fucking game for the Game Boy to take with you.
Yes.
On the go. So it only makes sense. If you're going to buy a new Tetris game, what do you want it for? You want it to take with you. You want it to sit on the shitter with.
And no, we haven't played the story mode, so
which I can only fathom what weirdness lies ahead in that. If the characters and their little quips in the battle mode is any indication, I'm sure the story mode is 100% the most Japanese bizarre thing ever. It almost has to be. But I'll play some of it. I don't know that I can force myself through an entire story mode of Tetris in Puyo Puyo because it's almost guaranteed to be forced, but I will play enough to make a competent review, but that's going to take a little... Putting together a review on Puyo Puyo is going to take some time to get sufficient experience to really, really quantify it. Mm-hmm. But from what I've played, I like it's fun. Is it $40 worth of fun yet? I'm not entirely sure. But I'm not deep enough into it. I have not put the time in that I need to yet.
I think for what you get even with the keychains,
which the keychains are fucking cool, by the way. From the box, they look like little rubber gummy things. They're not. They're like cool ass metal keychains.
I think people were willing to pay the $40 because that's what everybody's been playing the game mostly on Switch. I haven't seen no one talk about PS4 or Xbox One.
Right, right. But in any case, excuse me. What else? There was something else. Shifty,
Future Tactics.
Yes. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
I got Eddie to play Future Tactics while he was here because, to me, it is the most brilliant tactics RPG game ever devised. But we'll go deeper into that after the break too, because that's a game that somebody needs to get on an HD remaster with.
Yes.
But in any case, I think that's and I forced Eddie to play the weirdest LSD trip pinball game, Flipnik, because Flipnik is fucking awesome. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing. I think we're good to break, and then we'll talk about some other shit. So, break!
Everybody, we'll be right back.
And welcome back. So we've covered all the what the hell we've been playing, as well as a whole lot of other stuff. Want to dive a little deeper on a couple of things, some stuff that came up this week, both in news and both in just personal this weekend, like between me and Eddie, like the future tactics stuff. First thing I want to run in on is Nintendo put out their financials. I'm not going to go real deep on that because everybody and their mom has fucking covered it, and I just want to touch on the one big announcement that came out of that pretty much at the same time, not directly from that, but subsequently was the announcement of the new 2DS XL. I suppose it's their way of showing that they're going to continue supporting it. I will say this. It's a fucking sexy piece of hardware.
Yes.
It's not for me because I am in that weird minority that I actually like and I use the 3D on my 3DS. Roll your eyes all you want. I like it. I enjoy it. I actually keep the slider up. I'm squirreling away to get a new 3DS XL because I like the 3D stabilization with the eye tracking. I've actually played with it. It works fairly well. Not to mention, just the upped horsepower, which I could get out of the new 2DS XL. But like I said, I use the 3D, so I want that additional 3D stabilization. They've announced for the States the new 2DS XL coming in at $150. As far as I've seen, it still doesn't come with a fucking charger. But they've got two SKUs coming. There's a blue with a black trim, which looks fucking sexy as hell. And then there is a white with a like a sherbet orange trim that actually looks pretty nice too.
Well, the Pokemon, which one? I think it was not Alpha Omega. It might be the last Pokemon. No, not Sun and Moon. There's one of them that someone posted a picture of the ultimate Pokemon, that black and blue one. Looks like the color of the US of the 3DS, and then the white and gold one looks like that other Pokemon. And I can't think of which Pokemon one it was, but I know June 28th it comes out for $150. I didn't read about it. I don't know if they posted any more details because it just came like out of nowhere. It was just like, huh?
Basically, what? The details are as follows: it'll run you $150. It's the same screen size as the 3DS XLs and the new 3DS XL, so it's a sizable screen. Mm-hmm. Unlike the original 2DSs, we've now got that clamshell design to keep those screens safe. It also, again, it falls into the new DS family where it's got that upped horsepower. It'll run like those couple of exclusives like Xenoblade Chronicles. Uh-huh. You've got that better horsepower that'll cut down on your load times on things like Smash Brothers for the 3DS. But other than that, I mean, it's not much. It's got the little C-stick nub. It's got the Amiibo NFC reader in it as well, just like the new 3DS XLs do, or the new 3DSs and new 3DS XLs do. So I mean, it's a nifty piece of hardware. It's pretty. It's not for me. And I'm honestly a little jealous because I like that colored aesthetic on it, that black and blue. It looks hot to me.
And it's good because people are still in travel season for the summer. So
we're just gearing up for that, and that'll be hitting it, just that peak season.
So definitely like with E3, the games that's coming out, like there's going to probably be some budget titles and stuff. I think it's a good deal for $150. That's why a lot of people don't see the old 2DS in stores after the holidays.
Well, not to mention too, these will also get you access to that virtual console library of Super Nintendo games to boot. So, it's a nice piece of hardware. I think it's fairly reasonably priced for what it is. My wife lost her shit over the white and orange one, which, I can't blame her. Again, like I said, it's not my color scheme, but even still, it looks nice. They've got that kind of cool textured look on the top, and even though Dragon Quest isn't my bag, I get it. But holy fuck, Japan's getting a sick-looking metallic slime new 2DS
I've seen that one.
Oh my god.
Yes.
If you've not seen it, look it up. I'll drop a picture of it in the
Can I
post
say
somewhere.
Square Enix is going big with Dragon Quest because PlayStation 4 got a blue and gold one for their PS4.
Yep.
But I seen that
I
slime.
saw somewhere too the blue slime controller for the PS4.
Yeah.
Because God, I remember the slime controller on the PS2. That thing was unwieldy. It was cool to look at, but as a controller, it was fucking horrible.
Yeah. That metallic slime one is going to be knowing John Riccardi from A4 Play. He'll probably have it. But yeah, that metallic one looks so slick, and I kind of want to play Dragon Quest 8 on that one. But you know what? I'm waiting to get the new 3DS. The 2DS one is just not for me. I like that new 3DS. I like that Pikachu one, and we're sold out. I gotta find one.
When
I
get my new 3DS XL, it's just gonna be a straight black one.
Simple. I was telling Corey again, like the black one is cool, but like if I ever got that white one, like I want the Super Famicom, I want the color buttons on that one so bad. Like I don't know, I just want it. There's something about that color scheme on the white piece of hardware that just looks so cool and stuff. But
I can see that.
That's me. And there'll probably be more with the holiday season bundles. We'll probably have like new 3DS and new 2DS XLs, like bundle stuff that with different designs. I hope so.
Yeah, that reminds me, actually, I was noticing over the last week or so, I'm seeing 3DSs creep back into the stores again, too, after the holiday famine.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But in any case, other things that happened, there was a prediction from some financial corporation that within the next year, Nintendo is going to release a mini version of the Switch, which I'm calling it now. Bullshit. Doesn't happen.
I agree.
Whoever the fuck wrote that fucking report, article, prediction, whatever, needs to be fired. That is the dumbest thing ever, and even Nintendo that does weird shit can't possibly be dumb enough to do it. There's, in a pure logistics standpoint, there's too many fucking problems with it.
Guess what? We want to put our beautiful system that you guys would be easy able to see into a smaller system. For what purpose?
Well, and how many people complained too, and looked at the Joy-Cons and went, that's just so small. Really, you want to do something that makes it smaller? And on top of that, too, it deprives the system of so many features that make that system a draw. Like being able to, pop the Joy-Cons off and I've got one and you've got one and now we can play two-player.
Yes.
Wherever the hell we are, there's always two controllers with you. Not to mention for things like ARMS, which, does have like some standard controls so that you can use the Pro controller, you can use it in portable mode, but, to not be able to actually enjoy the full range of like the motion control on that, because that's a big draw for that. ARMS is like what we had dreamed Wii boxing would have been one day, and for the record, the more I see of ARMS, the more I'm getting excited for it. I was already kind of curiosity piqued, but now I'm getting genuinely excited for ARMS. They just put out a new character reveal, DNA Man, which is basically an amorphous flubber. But in any case, like you said, just the more I see, the more I'm getting pumped for ARMS. And oh my god, the more I look at them, the more I'm getting pumped for those fucking yellow Joy-Con.
Yeah.
I want yellow Joy-Con with the black shoulder strap thing on it. And just give it that black and yellow Hornet look. Yeah. You know it's going to be sexy as
because
shit.
you know I'm still in those. If I see it
that
in this
black
household,
and yellow, that Hornet look, yeah. So in a heartbeat, guaranteed fucking tea. But in any case, so yeah, that's just fucking retarded.
I'm sorry, everybody. I literally would just steal them out of his house because I was telling Larry on the trip, I'm been into like the color yellow and with black, and seeing and playing like games on that controller, just that color is just so sexy.
It's just
and
it's bright
just
and pop.
Yes.
But I mean, it's not like, muted. It is loud yellow. It is bold yellow.
And I think once they bring out more colors and designs, I just think about mixing them up, dude.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. So one I want to go a little deeper with, because now Eddie understands because he's played it. Future Tactics.
Yes.
Let's talk about this weird little game that you've probably never heard of except for me talking about it previously.
Well, I remember Future Tactics because it came out on GameCube, PS2, and Xbox One. I didn't play it because I couldn't find it in my neighborhood.
Can we normalize now the abbreviation XBO, Xbox Original?
XBO?
Yeah, XBO.
Yeah, XBO. Okay.
It was the first Xbox, but it's not Xbox One. It's the original Xbox. What are you going to fucking call it? XBO. It's Xbox Original.
XBO. Okay. You heard it first. World War I exclusive.
End the confusion.
No, yeah, but I didn't play it. So Larry surprised me, and I played it. Very fun game, very deep. I did get killed and I didn't beat the level, but it's a different take on the tactical strategy kind of games. I mean, it has a Fire Emblem feel to it, but it's not grid based. So
yeah, that's the first thing that you'll notice went right out the window.
Yes.
Most every tactics game is grid based. That's a foundational element. Future Tactics takes a different approach. It's a turn-based strategy game with a first-person shooting combat element, and so the first thing that you think is, how the fuck do you put first-person shooting in a turn-based game? How in God's green earth does this make any sense? How does this work? You're just shooting at a static target, and there is a solution for that, and we'll get there in a second. But your movement, your turn opens up. And your movement, you've got a big ring around your character, and you can run and move anywhere inside that ring. And the closer to the edge of that ring you get, the less space you can move after you take your attack phase. So move your character, make sure you got a line of sight on whatever enemy you want to hit, go into your attack phase. From there, most, not all, and Eddie didn't get to it because that gets further into the game, but most of the characters, whip out their gun, and it goes into a first-person mode. And so instead of just, aiming with your joystick, the reticule actually moves and floats, and so it's almost this concept of your hand is not perfectly steady. It's trying to, get it just dead center. And so once you've managed to wrangle, is probably the best term, the reticule over, or your sights over the enemy that you want to take a shot at, you'll hit your X button, your A, whatever the hell console you're playing on, and it'll lock it there. And then there's a line that comes sweeping across your sight, and you hit your A button when that line crosses over the enemy. And then one more comes perpendicular to it, sweeping the other direction. And
so it kind of forms a crosshair.
Crosshair, exactly.
Yeah.
And so you want to get that intersection of the crosshair dead on the enemy. And the closer to the center of your sights that crosshair ends up, the stronger your shot.
Yeah.
So
now, the one problem that I have with this game is definitely the camera. There are some points where you'll go into attacking, and your camera is so bizarre everywhere before you could not so much as press the triangle button to look around or anything like that, but it was just like I stopped and I was ready to go into my attack and look around, and the camera, because it's too sensitive, it was just moving around everywhere. So that's one of the problems that I had with it.
It's something that, at the time was not a big deal, but we're at a point now, we're going back to that, it's the standards are a little more refined. And so, we were talking about it, and this is a game that I would love to see retold and prettied up.
Yes.
Doll that bitch up, clean up the camera controls a little bit, for when you're not in your attack phase, because it'll let you detach the camera from your character so you can look around and get a full scope of the battlefield. It'll also, even in your movement phase, you can switch to a first-person view to make sure that you've got line of sight on what you're aiming at when you go into your attack phase, so you don't waste part of your movement phase on guesswork at what your character can and can't see. But for me, and sadly Eddie didn't get real deep into this, he just got enough to get a basic of the mechanics and what makes it so unique. But the other thing that I really loved about Future Tactics was the story and the writing. I mean, the animation on it is pretty rudimentary. I mean, this is a game that came out brand new, like $15-20 budget title, hardcore.
Yes.
But the story and the writing and even the voice acting was pretty decent. The story was so good. Here's a game that front to back would take you 8-10 hours, give or take. It's not super long. But the scope of the story does something that most games don't. This game tells you a story that takes place over the course of like a year and a half, 2 years, even longer possibly, because they don't give you a real set definition of time frame, but you can pick up enough to know that it's long. Like over the course of the story, you'll have two of the characters actually get together and have a child. So you go through what little bit of courtship there is in this, world, and everything's gone to crap, and actually, go through a full 9-month pregnancy and bring this kid into the world, and then, continue their travels and their journey after that too. So you're dealing with a fairly lengthy story in a time frame that most games don't ever touch. And I really like that fact. That impressed me greatly. But the thing is, it never feels arduous or dragging, because you're not getting the, every day of it. You're getting the important points along the line of that journey. So you're not doing, 80 missions of walk from here to here. Mm-hmm. It's just you get a mission when there's an event and something happens and there needs to be some story conveyed. The writing is intelligent enough that you can fill in the fucking blanks that they probably walked for a few weeks and there was some small talk and maybe a little bit of squabbling, because it's normal people shit. And then, what's important is that you understand the big events that happen, and that's what they show you. And that's really fucking cool to me. Yeah,
I agree.
So, but in the interim, because it'll probably never happen, go find a copy of Future Tactics. It's seriously like $3.
Yeah, it's by Crave Entertainment, so you'll probably be able to find it at a garage sale, Best Buy, maybe still there, because some places still selling PS2 games, or even check GameStop. They're doing their retro sales, So you probably could find one online and get you a copy.
Yeah, that's a big shocker too. Is that came out of Crave Entertainment, who by no means was known for their fucking quality software.
Okay, but hey, second party games still did good.
Oh, I'm not saying they didn't. It's just Crave was not a name that was known for quality.
Yes, that is
so.
True.
And aesthetically, it wasn't real high fidelity, but the core of the content was there and it was solid. So, and that's impressive.
It was a surprise gem.
Oh God, yes.
Did you found games like that on all consoles, surprise gems? Just like games you think that it shouldn't sell well or it should be kind of garbagey, but they're actually good. There's a game called Whiplash that I had on
Oh God, I loved Whiplash.
That, as crazy as it may seem,
the lab rabbit.
Yes. It's such a good 3D platform game, and I had fun with it.
Oh hell yeah, it was. But yeah, I also got Eddie to play Flipnik finally, and I don't know that anyone could ever adequately explain Flipnik without just putting it in somebody's hands and going, here, stare at this.
So this is the context about Flipnik. I've never heard of it, and then when I found out about it, it was a game from Capcom on PlayStation 2. I'm like, Capcom did a pinball game? So Flipnik is kind of like the board flips around and you go to different areas with your pinball, and sometimes there are objectives that you have to complete to get through it, and you mostly are just doing it to get points. And they have different techniques that you don't find in a normal pinball game. But it was a cool and yet weird experience because there was one point where the one board I played, the ball was rolling around on this metallic magnet, and you had to line up your shot for your ball to go to the next same magnet. If it doesn't go, it would halfway and then move right back to where it was rolling around.
It would bounce off of a bumper and come back to the focal point. Yeah.
So you kind of had to time it. You was able to jump with the ball, go to different areas. It was a fun game. It was weird in the fact that it came from Capcom. I still think that's weird. They're not known for pinball games at all. And B, it as weird as it seemed, it really is a fun game. If you love pinball and you just want to go for points and score, you can. It's better than Sonic Pinball. Anything is better than Sonic Pinball.
I like Spinball. You shut your dirty
Spinball was a hot garbage mess.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was.
Poor mouth.
Because you failed me well this week, I would not respond to that.
But Flipnik, and here's what baffled me when that came out. The PSP was not far behind. Tell me that game wouldn't have been perfect on the PSP.
It would have looked beautiful on that screen. It would have fit just perfectly.
That's one of the things about Flipnik is it is very, very slick. Lots of metallic sheen, lots of neon, lots of, very vibrant color. Mm-hmm. And that's something that would have just stood out from the fucking crowd on the PSP. That's one of those that, would have ranked as like an essential, like Lumines was a essential for PSP.
Yes.
Flipnik would have been up there too, hands down.
Yes, I agree.
Like that's a perfect portable pocket game. So, but yeah, that's some of the oddball stuff. We talked about Puyo Puyo Tetris, most of the weird shit that came out news wise. Nintendo announced out of their financials that they shipped 2.74 million Switches in the first month, which was 0.74 more than they had predicted being able to get out the door. So, there's that. I know last week we didn't talk about the discontinuation of the NES Classic because we were talking with Tom, which, by the way, and I meant to do this earlier. Huge welcome to any of you that are just joining the family.
Yes.
I know we had a huge spike in listeners with Tom being on last week, and any of you that decided to stick around for more, we appreciate it. Which brings me to something else too that I need to talk about for a minute here, and I'm stealing the floor from you, Eddie.
Go ahead.
There was something of a
Miscommunication.
a miscommunication and a judgment call on my part was made. I wholly own it. For anybody that's listening that doesn't know, which at this point I don't know how you don't, because this one got broadcast loud and clear. And it was not my shining moment, and I want it made known that what happened was not done to sensationalize or anything, or to intentionally mislead. After last week's show, some things that Tom said, and I understand, I re-listened to it over and over to make sure that I heard everything right before I pulled the trigger on posting the story up on our Facebook page. So I pulled the trigger on the story that Axiom was coming to Switch, because from what Tom said in the interview last week, what I heard was, and as I understood it, was that it was in the pipeline. It was already in the works. In conjunction with some of what was said at the end, additionally gave implications the wrong word, but as I heard it, it was him saying that, yeah, it's coming. And so I pulled the trigger on the story, on the announcement that Axiom was coming to Switch. Later that day, Tom posted and clarified that it's not currently greenlit for Switch. The takeaway being that, and what he was trying to convey, and ended up kind of getting muddled on both sides, just in slightly strange choice of wording, and the way that it conveyed was that he wants it there. He right now is stonewalled because Nintendo isn't giving him the green light. Now, that being said, there was a little bit of backlash here and there. Most people simply caught the correction in the update. And that's the one thing I want to hit here too, is that I made it a point that as soon as I heard otherwise from Tom, that I ran a correction on that post. So, and I made sure that it was up there and up front as fast as I had the information. So, I fouled up on that completely unintentionally, but as soon as I heard otherwise, I also owned it and made that correction. That was and this is the important part to understand too, that was my honest mistake. I wanted to make sure that was out there, and, like I said, the reason I made that correction and that redaction, as soon as I had the information, is because when we put out news, or when we cover something, we want to make sure that we're doing it with as much integrity as possible. So if, we got something wrong, we want to make sure that you get the information that, hey, hold on a second, this was not quite right, and we've just heard, here's the update, here's the correction. We want to make sure that you get all that information. We don't just want to blow something up for the sake of attention. Was I pumped at the concept that, we may have an exclusive news break? Yes, but it's not as important to me as our integrity. And, if I for a moment had thought that it was incorrect, I wouldn't have run it in the first place. That's why, like I said, I re-listened to it as much as I did before pulling the trigger and clicking post on that or publish. And so that's it's just something I wanted to hit on. That was something that weighed on me particularly heavy that day, and so
and
it is what it is. But
Di-
again, integrity is
and this
foremost.
this is new for us. I mean, we've been interviewing some guests on past episodes, and we haven't had someone major like Tom Happ. So, we just, when we're trying to be accurate, we just want to make sure that what we hear is true. There was like Larry said, there was a judgment call, there was a mistake made. And we're just going to get better. Larry apologized. We apologize at World 1-1, for you guys, hearing it and, getting your hopes happy for it. And, we were so hyped just even to talk to him, to have, not a little show, but a community show like us, to talk to someone who made a very influential game for a lot of people. And we were kind of happy to hear that if the game did come to Switch. Now, we thought it was in the works, but it wasn't. So the mistake was made. I think there were some people who made it take a little bit too far. But that's the way that some people acted in this the internet. But we're going to do better. We're going to improve. We need the feedback. So if things like this do happen, we can learn from our mistakes and we could be better at it and be able to handle it, because we didn't walk into this as professionals. We were still
we're winging it as we go along. We're kind of learning by the seat of our fucking pants here.
Yeah, and
but that being said, too, just to kind of cap on that, because I don't want to, drag on it real long.
Yes.
It's something that I wanted to make sure I touched on, vocally instead of just putting into writing, because this is something I kind of needed to verbalize. So there was some intonation and inflection, so that you kind of understand a little bit better where I'm coming from on this. Other than obviously my sincerest apologies, and B, like I said, honest mistake, and C, integrity. But throughout the rest of that day, actually, I was chatting back and forth with Tom direct. There was a little bit of conversing on publicly over Twitter, but there was also some direct one-on-one talk. And talking with him, he's I told him, like, I made sure that I've updated, I've corrected he's like, just so that he's like, no hard feelings whatsoever. He's like, I get it. I understand exactly, what was said, and I understand how, how the confusion came and where the misunderstanding came from. But beyond that, fucking super cool class act dude that he is. He's like, by the way, have a handful of fucking Steam codes for Axiom to give away to your listeners. So hitting on that real quick too. There are still a good handful of codes to give away for Axiom Verge. That post is on our Facebook page, but just to let you know what the deal is, shoot us a message out to the Facebook page, World 1-1 Podcast, and tell us the answer to this question: what is Tom Happ's favorite cereal? I've been resharing the giveaway post, which includes a link to last week's show, which has the answer, and I will not tell you where in the show it is. Give it a listen, but you shoot me a message and tell me what Tom Happ's favorite cereal is, and as long as I still got codes to give away, I will give it to you.
Yes. So everybody,
last count, I think there's about 6 still. So, which is 2/3 of what he gave us to give away. So a whopping 3 people at this point have claimed codes. So at this point, yeah, get on it. The sooner the better. But I think that's about all that we got. One other thing too. Want to say hello to the folks that may be joining us for the first time from Podknife that's just picked us up. They're a great big, growing and brand new internet directory of podcasts, database, something of that aspect.
Party database.
It's not quite a network per se like DNA or NGR, but it's it's a thing that's out there to be able to kind of compile and make it easy to find podcasts of relevance or interest to you. So check out Podknife. So that's a new thing for us. I've been informed that some stuff with NGR is in the works as well. More on that as it comes to me. That one's kind of out of my hands. I'm just on the receiving end of whatever the hell happens with it. But I have no influence on timeline or anything to do with making it happen. I'm just here making whatever the hell it is that we happen to make. So there's that.
Should I plug?
What was that?
Should I plug?
Give it a second. You and your other fucking hour-long.
I'm talking about this show.
Podcast.
I'm trying to do the marketing for this show.
But other things coming up. Actually, we're about to the plug part, anyways. But I'm gonna pimp my shit for just a minute before Eddie does his hour-long show. Couple things to keep an eye out for. Obviously, if you're new to us and you found us through iTunes, Google Play, Podknife, or if you've come to us for the first time, since last week with the Axiom show, which, like I said, again, a huge thank you to Tom for coming on. It was a great pleasure to have you on. We hope to see you again. Couple things in the works. One I don't want to talk about just yet as I'm trying to lock down some details. But make sure you click like on the Facebook page because that's where all the original written content and reviews and whatnot are coming. Like I said, this week you'll be seeing reviews for Kamiko, Go Up, Mr. Shifty, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Puyo Puyo Tetris probably won't be till next week just because of time constraints and the time that I need to put into that to actually adequately write a respectable review without just completely, bullshitting my way through it. Find us on Twitter at world1_1. We're on Twitch at world11 podcast, all spelled out. Join the conversation on the Facebook group, the forum, World11 Podcast Forum on Facebook. I'm trying to think if I've missed anything else. I'm sure I have. I don't know.
Okay. As you let your brain rest, you guys can find us on Twitter at
Brain
World.
Rest is right. Because you have no concept of this. It's almost 2 a.m. as we're wrapping this shit up. So I've been running on all cylinders all fucking day.
Can I mark it? Can I plug? Thank you.
Plug your shit, fool.
You guys can follow us on Twitter at world1_1 podcast. You can email us at world11podcast@gmail.com. You can hear World11 podcast at shoutengine.com, iTunes, Google Play, and other podcast apps. You guys can join us on World11 podcast on our Facebook page and the World11 podcast forum. That's how you do it. You can hear my personal podcast Optional Opinion at SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, the Anomalous Radio Network.podbean.com, and other podcast apps. You also hear my other show, Nintendo Power Block, that I do with Corey Derrick on NGR Radio. So come check us out there. Yeah, I am. If you guys are checking out Optional Opinion on SoundCloud, I have been doing reviews and average scores for all the games that were shown at E3 that's been released. So it's called Hey E3, How Do Your Games Do? I still have a couple more episodes to drop for you guys, but do check it out. They're only short episodes that you guys can listen to. Great music. You'll be surprised at the scores that they have. So with that, everybody, Larry, anything else?
Yeah, speaking of E3, gearing up for that, obviously, like we mentioned, a whopping 6 weeks, month and a half away, whatever the case may be. And so help me God, if I can fucking nail down a Microsoft press person, I'm going to have a fucking talk with them about Phantom Dust. nobody is dodging the bullet on that question. I will get a fucking answer. I swear to Christ. But I personally am gearing up for, because I will be there. We will have show floor coverage. Expect a daily show, basically, for every day of the show floor. We're trying to work out exactly what and how we're going to handle recordings, as I will be there. Eddie will still be home based for that, but we're going to make it happen and make sure that we get you hands-on impressions, previews, all the cool stuff going on there. And I am aiming to make sure that I don't just hit the big stuff, but try and trudge through and find at least one or two gems that maybe don't get near enough attention or love that you should probably keep an eye on. That being said, too, as we approach E3, if there are things that are going to be there that we know that you want to make sure that we're hitting on, and that we're getting you the coverage and the look at that you want, let us know what that is, so that I can make that game plan and make sure that we are covering as much of what you want out of that show as humanly possible, as one crippled person can do. So that's a thing. Holy Christ, I'm going to be in so much pain after that fucking week. For the new people that don't know, I am missing part of my spine, and it causes some hardcore chronic pain. So that much hoofing it around for a couple of days, the LA Convention Center, I can only expect to be in excruciating pain, but I do it because I love what we do here.
I'll be sitting back eating snacks.
And I love you guys. Those of you that I've gotten to meet personally, those of you that are new to the show that I've not gotten to meet yet, I'm sure there's a number of faces that I don't know from the Facebook page, because you haven't liked on there, and I haven't gotten to kind of get to know some of the people that are listening, which I like to actually get to know. I like to talk with you guys on the forums, which I personally need to do a little bit more to drive some conversation there. But what does crop up there, I love the conversation that we do have, the little bits the little spurts that it comes in. But other than that, like I said, if there's something that you want to make sure that we're talking about at E3, let us know, and I will absolutely do my damnedest to make it happen for you. Like I said, because I got love and I got passion for you guys. Without you people as listeners, this still means something to me, but you guys are the reason that we do this, because we like to talk about video games, but we like to, we want to share with you, the gamers out there, maybe some thoughts or some insights on to games, and that maybe are less commonplace. And so we do it for you because we love you, and we don't get to where we get to without you guys. And just want you to know that we appreciate you guys clicking the download and putting us in your ears every week. It means a great deal to me personally, to all of us, but to me personally, as there are plans to grow the show, grow the Facebook page, and eventually branch into an independent site where we can do more for you guys than what we can do right now. And that's why I asked on a personal level, if you enjoy this, share it with your friends, subject them to our insanity for a little bit, and maybe they catch on and they start listening. Because the more of you there are, the more we are going to be enabled to do bigger and better things for you guys as time goes on in the long term. And I want us to be able to do that for you. I want to be able to provide some unique and less than common and sometimes unpopular opinion, because you've got to hear everything. Otherwise, you just live in an echo chamber that doesn't do you any good. We want to share our passion, and we want to even educate a little and give some insight. And so we do it for you, and we love you, and just want to say thank you for continuing to download us and listen to us and support us. So, but that's all I got. It's 2 a.m. As strange as it seems, because I'm realizing, hearing myself out loud, I sound drunk. I've not had a drop of anything today, which is a little tragic. I neglected to get beer for the Mario Kart party, but we're just now into the late night stupids, and I'm a little sappy about it. So, other than that, we love you guys. Have a great week. We'll talk to you again on Monday next week. Facebook giveaway, Axiom Verge giveaway. Send me the answer. I want to give you guys free games, damn it. Other than that, that's it. We're out. Good night. Peace.
And we will see you guys next week. Bye.